I think the evidence put before committee this evening is that we know that officers and the professional advice that we've received is that there will...
Knowing you have to sign in a large number of all the paperwork you have to have when you go to buy a property, I'm just wondering whether they'll actually see the covenant and actually understand what it means, and possibly offering them a time to come to the site in the evenings so they can see what the noise level would be. It might be a nice informative on there, not a requirement but an informative.
Malcolm?
Thank you.
I looked at David for clarifications as whether they're not aware of it.
I'm not aware of
Complaints.
There may be, but I'm not aware.
Do bear in mind those houses are quite noticeably further away than these will be very close. But as we saw, there's significant acoustic measures. Right. Yes, please, thank you.
School run, so I didn't realize it was quite as bad as it was. And so you understand these kind of things, that people will see this and they'll see it during the day when there's obviously noise around there. In the evenings in Woking we tend to be a little quieter, and suddenly having the beep, beep, beep coming out at 3 o'clock in the morning might disturb people's sleep.
Okay, I think all members have indicated want to speak and now spoken. Members are saying we're really open.
Consultation. Keep coming on the right side.
On the right side. Only 6 spaces.
It's for the affordable housing to the front of the site. There's 2 parking courts. So there's 6 units in total, and there's 11 spaces. So there's 6 that are...
I mean, it's just 6 for 38 houses?
No. It's only for the affordable units at the front of the site.
What does it say?
There's 6 affordable houses at the front.
So 6 affordable houses at the front. There's 1 space allocated each, and then there's 5 unallocated spaces.
So there are 11 spaces for 6 affordable houses.
So why has Swallowfield Council said it doesn't satisfy the council's provision for the 32?
I don't know. But in terms of the rest of the site, the provision is, there's 2, for the remaining 32 private units within the site, there are 2 spaces each other than plot 18, which has 1 and a garage. However...
I am only a layperson who has had a protracted involvement in the planning process, but I have seen, and I think many members of the committee who've served a fair amount of time on the committee, have seen proposals that we reject go to planning appeal, be approved by the planning inspector and be returned as such as a fait accompli with less significant planning conditions than the ones that we originally considered.
We're not refusing.
No, I'm just saying.
For a
So
moment.
I just think we need to bear in mind we've heard that there are a set of conditions here that we're not likely as a council to want to change. But anyway, we have a valid proposal proposed by Lindsay and seconded by Rochelle.
Can I just ask a question before we go forward? Would those 5 conditions still be available if we ask for deferral?
Yes.
Right.
If we do defer it, can the applicant go to appeal because we haven't made a decision in this timescale?
That's right, yes.
What you must just say?
30 days.
The applicant has indicated, because it has been deferred since from December, they have indicated that
Sorry,
they
it
would
wasn't
like
deferred,
it.
it was withdrawn.
It was deferred from the committee.
We never deferred
It was deferred. No members didn't defer it. Officers deferred it for further
The
information.
report says really the application's deferred. Just the other thing is, in view of what Clare said, this application's been on the go for 44 weeks. The norm for this type of application, the guide is 13 weeks. So whilst, as Clare said, the developer would say he'd go to appeal if we don't make a decision for non-determination. I think the fact that it's already 44 weeks old increases the chances of that. But anyway, as I was saying, we have a successfully proposed proposal to defer this. Lindsay, could you just clarify for a bit of bidding what will be achieved by that deferral before we take a vote on it?
Sorry?
So, could you just confirm what the purpose of the deferral is in view of what we've heard from WSP? in terms of they would be bringing back the same information as they just presented tonight.
Well, this was the first time we saw this letter was tonight.
Sure.
I think it's
It did go out on the update yesterday. That was part of the update that you received yesterday. So. You know, we have a members update goes out.
I don't remember sending it through. I'm just trying to think here because
This is, I'm anxious that
I'm not.
I don't want to defer it just because it's a difficult decision. I want to defer it for a clear reason.
Well, I'm not sure I can because if we've got WSP, the trouble is that none of us here are expert enough to know that what the answers we got here clears all the answers. And I'm still concerned the fact that there are different opinions. You always will get that between professional people. And we're sat in the middle. If we had a full answer back that had said, that clearly indicated there was nothing to do, we've got a 3-page letter, which is a very technical letter, and I haven't had an indication that what the alternative from the resilience group says that what he was proposing was wrong. All I've got is a big long letter to say that does not assume this and does not. I don't know. It doesn't give me a black and white answer, so far as I can see at the moment. So maybe I'll have to ask further of WSP to clarify what they have indicated in layman's speak as to what the Swallowfield Resilience Group's consultants have said and why they don't agree with what he has said, other than the fact it wasn't calibrated. Can I do that?
Try. I can try, but I can only repeat that he says that he can't. No, he hasn't.
He has.
We've reviewed all this. He's not been part of the information, so he hasn't. His summary is that he can't conclude anything. So it's difficult to object to what he's saying when he hasn't said anything. In summary.
Okay, I just remind the committee that my introduction to tonight's committee, I made the point that we are advised here tonight by a series of professionals. We are lay people. Okay, we're elected representatives. We try and balance those responsibilities. But we're advised by professionals, and we've had their advice tonight from WSP that they looked at this scheme. There's obviously, because 44 weeks have gone past since the scheme was first submitted, there's clearly been modifications and one hopes improvements to the scheme. And I accept your point, Lindsay, that there's a lot of technical information there. That's why we have the professional officers here to interpret that information for us, and they're giving us an interpretation of it. And it's up to us to decide whether we feel that is an appropriate interpretation or whether that would be unsafe to accept their professional interpretation.
To save time, I think I'll have to withdraw my thing because I haven't got sufficient detailed information enough to do that, but I do have concerns.
Yeah, just a very quick statement really that, I'm very unhappy with the application, but for two reasons I will support it. One is the fact that the applicant's got a gun to our head and go to appeal and probably win. And two, the fact that at least we do have some stringent conditions. So I'm placed in a position where I have really no option but to support it, unhappy though I am.
I also have some concerns that this sat so long with planning that we have no option. And that it went 44 weeks through planning and including deferral, that we had no option to defer it for a month to be able to do this for our information as well. And I'm uncomfortable with that. I think that we should have the applications in adequate time that we can do this in the future, if possible.
Well, Lindsay, you made a proposal. Are you sure you want to do that? I'm quite happy to put that to the vote.
I can't give you want a reason for it, and it's been I can't find the right words because we're just saying he hasn't got the right information, and I have to pass. So withdraw it.
Okay. Do members, any members wish to make any other alternative proposals? Other proposals available to you are proposals to refuse the application. We've considered a proposal to defer, which has been withdrawn. I see no one indicating, so the only other option available to us is to consider the officer's recommendation, which is that, as is clearly stated in the report, which is to approve the application subject to all of the conditions contained in the report, plus the additional information that's contained in the members' update. So all members wishing to support the recommendation, could they please indicate? And are you abstaining or voting?
I'll go against.
So one abstention and against. That application is approved.
Their tactics and training methods. So retaining significant screening on the side is quite a high priority for the club. So I don't think it will be so low that people will be able to passively see it, let alone actively try and see it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, Chair. As we have heard, it is an unbalanced, this one tonight, and I am struggling with which way to go.
Yes, Chairman, I think that, as Ashley's explained, this is an unbalanced decision, and one of the key elements that makes it acceptable.
All in knowledge of the area by all interested parties. According to the Land Registry, 58 First Road, titled BK 44241, demonstrates there is a restrictive covenant which we believe is breached by Plot 1. We note with interest an email that was received 16th of March by WBC from the Environment Agency stating the land to be deemed Zone 1. We too received an email on the 30th stating the majority of the site is in Zone 2. Given the importance of this issue, we believe the Environment Agency should visit the site in order to conduct a full and thorough survey of this application can be accepted. Little account has been taken of the medium to high risk of surface flooding from the Hurst Road. The culvert running down the border of 46 Hurst Road and through the site was initially missed by the FRA, and nothing subsequently has been changed to manage it. Mr. Burgess of 46 Hurst Road states that at no time has a survey taken place on his land and is yet to receive any responses to any of his emails. The proposed site's drainage options are flawed. The residents of Orpington Close already cope with an inferior sewage system and have been subject to groundwater flooding following sustained periods of rainfall. The option of running the surface water through to Orpington Close must be rejected and a viable maintenance plan agreed before planning is granted. Thames Water Sewer report is in respect of land behind 57 Hurst Road and as such can be deemed inaccurate. There are other issues such as the proposed pitch of the garage roofs that are not in keeping with the
Defences. The current system used in Orpington Close, that was underwater in 2014. I'm not sure if that picture that was shown of us actually shows when it was right at the full extent or not, because I know that area down the bottom. I spoke to the resident at number 60 Orpington Close, and the water came up to 1 inch on his wall, and that is right in the same line. If you stand there, it's in the same line as half of the site. I didn't get into the site myself during that winter period, so I can't tell, but I have concerns that if you put water defences on one which is already here, objective number 3 and objective number 4. And as this has been adopted, this is our strategy. Number 3, ensure that planning and decisions take full account of flood risk, avoiding development in inappropriate locations, preventing an increase in flood risk and minimising existing flood risk wherever possible. 4, maintain and when necessary improve local flood risk management, infrastructure and features as well as privately owned flood defence assets and ordinary water courses to reduce risk. I would say that the application that we have before us fails those 2 objectives, and I shall be recommending refusal of this application.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. I too attended the site visit, and I have to say I did so with a completely open mind, as the site was in the MDD and I assumed it was a suitable site. Within about 6 paces of walking on the site.
It's flood zone 1, it's flood zone 2. I think what we need To my mind, a lot of that is quite academic.
Exhausted what most people have to say. Lindsay, I think you're going to come forward with a proposal.
Yes, I think bearing in mind the issue of refusal, I think that I would have to ask for a deferral because there has been such confusion, and the fact that there's only been emails coming back from the EA this last week and having one saying one thing one day and another thing saying another day. There is sufficient confusion for there to be a review and also pick up the type of point that Chris has just made so that we can absolutely clearly identify that this has got all the attributes, because I don't have confidence that this site won't flood. The fact that it is so boggy in March this year, you have a thunderstorm and a rain, water is coming down from Stanlake Meadow, because that's where the water resides at, and it's got to be coming down Winchcombe Road to get to that site. That's the only direction it can come from. And that site at the top is boggy in the first place. I know because I brought my dogs there regularly. So I will take the point about refusal. I'll take the issue up of MDD outside of this because I feel that there's something needs to be looked at on that. So I will change from refusal to deferral so that we can cover all the issues, so that we can absolutely clearly have factual information.
Okay, before I seek the seconder on your proposal for deferral, I think we need to just check a few points. Lindsay, as you said yourself, the Environment Agency is not a statutory consultee in this.
Okay, I review. I'll go back to my original proposal to refuse.
Okay, right. Would you like to give a reason for refusal?
Because there is a high degree of uncertainty as to whether the area would flood. I believe it is in breach of the objectives 03 and 04 of the recently agreed local flood risk management strategy.
Okay. Can we just...
Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. Can we just check this flood risk strategy that's just been through the executive? Is it strategy? Is it policy?
Chairman, through you, it is a strategy. It is not a policy. The policy is in the MDD and the policy is in the core strategy. However, there is regard to our strategy and it is a material planning consideration. However, I think there's a fundamental disagreement between what officers are advising and what Councillor Ferris is suggesting, is that we feel, because it's been demonstrated that the site is not because the site is acceptable for development and that the proposal is acceptable, that it doesn't contravene those policies, those requirements in that strategy.
Could I make a minor suggestion then? And then we'll see if it's seconded and go to a vote on this. Really, you're saying it's concerns about, my apologies, concerns about flooding due to contradictory advice from the Environment Agency.
Yes.
Okay.
Is part of it, definitely.
Okay. Would you want to add any more to it? Because clearly,
and I'm concerned about the surface flooding. Definitely the site being boggy gives indications that there water would come down, and in fact the culvert is there and that was still flowing quite strong. I'm concerned that there could be a flash flood, a thunderstorm, and water would come down the culvert and any properties there could be flooded.
So saying surface water flooding caused by pluvial.
I bow to people's engagement. I also check what the CP issue is on flooding. I don't remember, is it 7? I can't remember the numbers. The CP. Is it CP 7?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Let's just check that.
But
We can supplement that. So, just remember who wishes to second that proposal. Right, so we have a valid proposal to refuse it on grounds that the surface water flooding concerns because of pluvial events and because of concern of flooding due to contradictory, flood concerns because of the contradictory advice that we have received and residents have received from the Environment Agency. Okay, but all those members wishing to support that proposal for refusal, could you please show? 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 votes for refusal. Members against that proposal? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, and
I abstain.
you're abstaining. Right, okay, so the proposal to refuse fails. Bring forward the original proposal. In that case, that is the only other option available to us. Members wishing to support the proposal to support this application, supplemented by the entries in the members' update, could you please indicate if you wish to support it?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4, and the rest of you are against. 3 votes.
2, 3.
And 1 abstention. So that application is approved by 4 votes, with 3 against and 1 abstention. We now move on to the next application, which is 29 Cotsweed Woodland.
And does not account for the loss of light vertically. Another problem is the southeast wall of 29 facing my building is inches from the boundary. And there's going to be building work undertaken on that in order to create a crown roof. I don't understand why the 1 metre rule applies to the new extension but doesn't apply to built on the current building. So we're saying that it's okay, you have to pull in 1 metre to go horizontally, but vertically you build as high as you want. Because of lack of space, they can't do this wall without putting scaffolding on my land, which I will not give access to. There's also a possibility that gutters and drainage pipes will overhang onto my land. I am not against an extension, I'm just after a reasonable one. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tunnel?
How long have you got? Minute.
You would need planning permission. That is the general case law. It's different because yes, you can have people have 13 children. It doesn't mean that you need planning permission for it.
They should.
So